Welcome. This is attempt number 2. Welcome back to Take What You Can. This is episode number 4. Today we're going to be reacting to NFL press conferences, man. I'm energized. I'm back. I'm ready. I took a cruise for a week. I do not have the virus. I was not on that cruise ship. Would I ever find myself on a landfill garbage area and taking pictures? That's what I heard would happen. All I know is I ain't going through this again. I already went through a pandemic. I'm not doing it again. No chance. No chance am I going through another one. But today we are ready. We're going to be focusing on 3 teams, reacting to the press conferences post-draft, and I'm just going to be giving you guys my reaction. So let's hop into it. Okay, today we will be starting with the Dallas Cowboys. Now you might say, Terrell, are you clip farming? Are you just going with the best people or the best teams or the most popular teams? No, I am not. Attempt number 1, I tried this on the Browns and I realized my mic was not working. So I'm going to try to give you a genuine reaction. Cowboys was the other one that I found interesting. So yeah, we're going to hop into it, but wait, let me double check here. I think I have the Cowboys draft class pulled up. So let's look at that first. So obviously they took Caleb Downs round 1. For me, I felt like that was too high. I know a lot of people disagree with me, and I see a lot of defensive players getting taken. And I think that's what we're going to see Jerry talk a lot about, just addressing the defense and kind of going from there. And maybe he'll talk about the George Pickens situation, but let's hop into it. Oh, Jerry.
The real men are real
about the top picks.
Jerry really tried to get that joke in there.
What do we call front runners? Huh? The guys that
real
go,
workers.
they're kind of front
Exactly.
runners. The people that aren't here. The people that aren't here. Front runners. Oh, Dan showed up today. Yeah.
Yeah. The guys and girls that want the rest of the story are here. Yeah.
All right, Jerry. Come
All
on.
right, Calvin.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, Will, can you guys just assess what you've done this weekend with the draft class and things, and obviously the trade as well with winners?
Well, I'm ready.
Good opening question. First question that they asked the Browns, or Todd Monken, was, how are you going to use Talon Green in packages? 6th-round pick. It's like, I don't know.
Ready for you a little bit here, so I'll start with my
Jerry,
notes.
we know
but,
you're going to start.
We have 5 first-round draft picks that we didn't have this time last year on defense. Quentin, Clark, I'm taking liberty.
Kenny Clark is like a 10-year veteran. Like, I get what he's saying. Like, he's a first-round draft pick. He's a good talent. But just the fact that he's been in the league for 10 years should already say how talented he is. It shouldn't matter that he's a first-round pick. It's his credentials at this point, Jerry. Come on. The salesman that is Jerry Jones, man. The salesman.
Gary, Downs, and Lawrence. So right there, we've added 5 first-round picks that weren't a part of the team this time last year.
AKA, we're doing everything you guys ask, so you continue to buy tickets. I opened the last stream that I attempted it with is that NFL owners or most sports team owners will only do what their fans are willing to put up with. That's why I always try to pressure Vikings fans to push the Vikings to actually make Super Bowl contending moves. And a lot of times they don't. But and then the media is supposed to be the representation of the fans. They're supposed to ask the questions that the fans want to know. Now, does the media do what they're supposed to do for the public? 99% of the time in any context? Absolutely not. But this is kind of where we're at. So I don't know. Evaluate the draft class, Jerry. Okay. we got 5 first-round picks. We're doing everything we can to try to win, blah, 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 blah. We know the defense was awful. It's like, dude, just win. That's why I like Al Davis. Just win. That's all that matters. And he actually won. And did he make moves that were kind of odd? Yeah, but like, just win, dude.
Added 9 new players on defense this offseason between trades and free agencies. 9 new on defense. We've added 9 new defensive coaches out of 10 coaches on defense. We've added 9 new ones. We not only that, and Coach could speak to that if you want any of it, but we have changed the concept of what we're doing defensively. The facts are that.
Yeah, you got rid of your best player, which I think was actually a really smart move. Quinnen Williams, I think, is a more valuable asset in today's NFL than Michael Parsons will be. That might seem silly now, but like long term, I think it's going to be right.
We have executed on. We got to see exactly how it's going to be, but we've executed on a dramatic change. The other thing, and I can say it this way, and it's not in any way to be talking from any vantage point, but okay. Brian is a head coach that has spent a lot of time in a lot of rooms in the NFL to be at his age. You've heard me say that. But he is absolutely, after that year we had last year on defense, he has absolutely had to just tunnel vision, burn a hole in from the standpoint of interviewing all the coaches that we hired, from the standpoint of looking at the schemes and seeing their ideas about the schemes. He has gone through a doctor's degree from Harvard in terms of at least putting this in place so that we can now go coach them up and execute it.
Jerry knows how to sell, man. I'm not trying to be a Jerry stan, but he knows how to sell. He really does. You're like, okay, I hear you, right? I hear you. But here's the thing. And here's like what I brought up in the last stream, and I'll stop talking about it after this. But like with the Browns media, they asked such stupid questions that nobody cares about. The Cowboys reporters already, first question, you're like, okay, just give us the draft class. Jerry gives everything that the fans want to know, basically, off the jump. Great answer. If I were to pick between those two, like a dichotomy or binary choice between those two, it would be Jerry. But here's the thing. You have to back it up by winning. That's what you got to do.
So we have sat here and added the personnel, dramatic change. I think someone said that, Rashada, you said there were 9 new players, 12 on defense.
Yeah, it's like 12 or 13 new faces.
On defense, 3 on offense, as we said here tonight.
New players and new coaches doesn't always mean good things. Sometimes that takes time, right?
To give you so it's been a dramatic change in the bones of whatever it takes to step out here and play some defense. Now we'll see where we go from here.
But again, that doesn't always mean good things. Yes, change is good if you're terrible, but it doesn't mean you're going to be good either.
Joe, you said you had to look in the mirror. Shotty, did you have to do that as well? Look in the mirror to say, we got to make some changes here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look back on last year and we didn't win enough games. You got to win games. You got to get in the playoffs, get in the postseason, and you got to play your best football. And so we knew that changes had to be made, but when you make changes, Calvin, you better make sure you're making the right changes.
Exactly.
And when you make the right changes, it starts with getting the right people, start with getting Christian, the staff, and then getting to work with these guys, and the scouts, and doing free agency first. And you don't get them all, right?
I feel like they're getting to me. Here, I feel like I'm buying it. But here's what a lot of people misunderstand about today's NFL and just coaches. I feel like they try to make it too specialized. You're like, oh, okay, he's our offensive guru, head coach. But at the same time, he's the head coach. He's the head of the whole team. He has to be a part of every aspect of the team. Yes, can he specialize in something? Of course. And be, his strengths are in one thing, of course. But at the same time, like, you're the head coach. So he should be talking about the defense just as much as anybody.
And if you don't get one, you don't get upset. You just pivot and find the next one, and that's what these guys are so good at. But what I'm most excited about is the chance to get out on the grass, starting with the rookie mini camp next week. The offseason program starts on Monday, but getting these guys that we're so excited, these new faces here, and get them up to speed. And now it's our job to, as coaches, take the development to the next level.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. I know each season is its own, but you do have the quote-unquote 30-year drought, and that's the goal is to take the next.
Hit him with the 30-year drought question. They don't play around, dude.
Step. How ready are you after what you've done this offseason with the draft or free agency to take the next step and end that quote-unquote 30-year drought?
At IHG.
Holy cow. I got an ad here, but yeah, wow, you hit him with the 30-year drought question. Jerry's about to answer this, dude, and he hold on, let me get back to it. Hold on. Look at his face. Hold up.
That quote-unquote 30-year drought.
Did you say 30-year draft or 30-year drought?
Drought. Since you've been to the Super Bowl.
Well, I understand the context you put the 30-year drought in, okay? I haven't been living like it was a 30-year drought, and I don't. It's been each year the opportunity. Someone asked me, and I understand where you're talking about. You'd like to have done better, but we've done some good things around here that when I go to sleep at night, I can hang my hat on that were good things over this last 30 years.
Jerry, yeah. I mean, you still have to win, dude. That's what pro sports is. And like, Jerry is not a perfect person. None of us are. But also, he's given a lot of guys chances. We all know that. He's given a lot of guys with tough pass chances. He has a heart for those kind of guys. So yes, inherently, is that a good thing? Yes. Have they had moments? Yes. Have they made a lot of money? I guarantee you they have. Their value's gone up in the last 30 years. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, what matters most is winning. So, Jerry, you got to focus on that. You can tell he's getting defensive about it. We all know it. And compared to the Browns media, what I just watched, like, Cowboys media does not play around.
Now, you're talking about the Super Bowl, of course, and you may even take it on down to the championship game,
Yeah,
and really, if you want to get it pinpointed, get it lower than that. You have to be able to live. In other disciplines, it isn't failure to be the second or third or fourth. It is in the NFL. And so you got to learn to live with that.
Yeah, true. But also at the same time, Jerry, you're not even coming in second, third, or fourth. That's what they mean when you haven't even made it to a championship game. That's fourth. That's third.
And this shuffle we're just talking about right here, the very act of it, what we're doing, the dramatic thing, the trades we made last year. It's pretty dramatic stuff in my eyes. You'd like for it just to run smoother. But we hadn't stopped them 4 years before last year either. Right. And so look at it. It's the only way you can go if you're not going to step down, and I'm not going to do that. And so you got to change it. Got to change that mirror.
Yeah. And I guess forget the
From
30
a
years.
personal, it's a personal standpoint. Yeah. We speak like this is all the show. It isn't. It isn't. If obvious, I wish everybody everywhere could see the way we make a decision there, and they'd quit worrying so much about me sitting there.
And here's the thing, and maybe I'm just falling for the salesman aspect of it, perhaps. But also at the same time, Jerry, like, yes, those are great sentiments on a human level. No, I honestly don't doubt that he works hard. I don't doubt that. I honestly believe that. I honestly think that they're a well-intentioned team. They try to win, right? But the sales aspect does overshadow it a bit. I think Jerry's vision is that he wants to win and also market, and that's what he did in the 90s, right? And it worked insanely well. It was amazing for the team. But also at the same time, dude, like on a human level, Jerry, we understand you. But also at the same time, nobody else is afforded that in the NFL. Nobody's afforded that grace, right? It's a incredibly competitive league. And the only reason you're afforded that grace is because you own the team. That's the reality of it.
And I guess we get to 30 years. We've talked several times throughout the offseason. You pointed out how Seattle went from out of the playoffs to the Super Bowl. New England went from out of the playoffs to the Super Bowl. You already feel you have a championship level offense. Have you done enough in the offseason to take that next step? Is what I'm asking you regarding that last year.
Let me give you an easy one. We've done enough to improve before where we ended up last year. And now that's a trick, because we need a lot more than just improve on what we did last year. We can materially improve.
Look at Stephen Jones just like sigh there. Like, have you done enough? What the reporter asked, if you didn't hear it, is, have you done enough to get to the Super Bowl? And he's like, well, we've done enough to improve over last year. Okay, like, as a Cowboy, like if I was a Cowboys fan, I'm not a Cowboys fan. Almost had a slip there. If I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be like, bro, what do you mean? That's not what he asked. Right? And I get it. It's a little bit of like a leading question, right? It's like, if that's what it means, is like he wants him to say like, yes, this is Super Bowl bound kind of team. And it's like, if I'm in Jerry's position, I don't know if I'm saying that either.
To where if we should be able to be as effective on offense generally. In my mind, we've done enough to start talking about getting up there where we try to be. And I think if we play the defense that we dream of playing with the changes we've made, and we can continue improving or doing what we did offensively last year, that we've got a heck of a future around here.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience.
Just out here giving free ads. But no, like, yeah. I mean, I said what I said. That's still how I feel about it. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm frustrated, right? 30-year drought. Haven't even been to a championship game. But also at the same time, especially as a Vikings fan, at least y'all won. Y'all have won several Super Bowls. So I don't know. I don't know how mad I would get about it. But I get it because, like, at the same time, you're watching the market the way they do, the value of the team going up. But it's like, how is the value of the team going up if you're not winning? But as a business, it's going up.
With ESPN, if you have got to look at your draft class, is there a commonality in either traits or temperament that you see among these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we have is, we have athletes and guys that love football and play football the way that the staff wants to play. We saw that in their college play, and we're hoping to bring it along when they come in here. It's a new opportunity for them, and Coach is going to set the stage.
Here's the sad thing. I feel like once Jerry passes away, I feel like they're going to get really good and start winning Super Bowls. Now, I don't wish that on him. That's sad. But I think that's really what's going to happen, ironically.
That way, but we feel like they got the football character to do the things that we need them to do.
And Jerry, you talked about the defensive staff. I think the average age is maybe 5 or 6 years younger than it was even last year. What kind of energy do you see from?
Dang, dude, Cowboys media does not play around, dude.
Those guys to take the guys you've added here, the 5 first-round picks, the guys you've added.
Hard questions. Oh.
That they can't do it.
Added here, the 5 first-round picks, the guys you've added. And
they don't know that they can't do it. They don't know that they can't do it, and they're there in the eyes of their boss, and that's what we're doing. And you can add that to that list of things that I was just talking to you about how this is different than it's been over the last 10 years or so. And again, I don't want to. It's not fair. It's just not the case. that people who coach these teams, people that played on these teams that we've had over the last several years, that they be involved where we're trying to improve. There's no other way to say it. We've got to get better than we have been if we're going to come out at the end of the year better off. So, yeah, I think
Obviously.
without a doubt that you just about, I don't even know if I could list the ways you could change it up any more than we've changed it. On the field and as far up as the coaching staff, I don't know that you could.
But again, does change necessarily mean good? Right? It might mean better, but better doesn't mean good or great either.
John Machado at The Athletic for Brian. Drew Shelton. What did you like about him, and how does he fit into your offensive tackle competition?
Yeah, we really like his smooth footwork. He's a good athlete, plays well in space. We think he, again, is a guy that's going to go out there and he's got a really good understanding of angles and how to get in people's way. We just like the traits, and we bet on a guy that's played, I think, 34 starts. And we think that get him in here to compete with some of the guys we got, and we're looking forward to throwing him in the mix with Guyton and Nate Thomas and those guys. And he'll be a left tackle that's got some guard versatility, but we also expect him to be able to swing to the other side as well.
I love the offensive linemen that the Cowboys draft. Like, they are so good at developing linemen. They draft great guys. Kudos to them.
And then for Jerry, when
that's why every year they put, maybe not every year, every game, but they always put up a good fight to the Eagles, or typically do, because they're one of the teams that can actually compete in the trenches against the Eagles. And I think what Jerry was starting to see is like, Micah Parsons is amazing, but once we hit the Eagles, he becomes ineffective.
look at your total class that you were able
And that's why they need Quinnen Williams, and it was a good move
to bring in, how does it compare to what you thought you could potentially get, a couple days before the draft started? Has it exceeded your expectations, or did it meet your expectations? Where would it kind of compare for you?
That first pick was we got lucky on that one to be able to do that.
You got lucky on Micah too, honestly. Even though I thought the Caleb Downs pick was high, I know I'm in the minority when I say that. Even though I thought it was high, it was still a really good pick for them. He's exactly the kind of player that they need in the secondary. Going to be able to start right away. He's going to be a really good player for them.
And I think the biggest reason, he's a fabulous football player. Mm-hmm. But when you think about one of the most glaring things in my mind, in our minds, that we didn't do on defense was communicate. Communicate right when it's time to get people set up to be in their best position to make a play. That's what this guy was built to do and coached in.
Yep, safety, exactly. Safety's built for that. Middle linebacker's built for that.
Grown up to do. You'd heard his background yesterday, coaching everywhere in it, generations of it. And then he's put it out there. So you need you a cerebral guy.
Jerry trying to pronounce cerebral. But honestly, I probably couldn't do it better. Cerebral.
And we got him. I don't know that I could have really said and planned and said, we got to get that done right there. If I'd had that kind of attitude about getting it done, we'd have probably given away the draft to try to get there. So we had to have it come to us to some degree.
Nick Harris for Star Telegram with Devin Moore. Anybody for the panel? Just what did you see from him in the evaluation process? Does he have positional versatility? And then speak to your comfort on the injury history as well.
The long athletic corner that can play press, he can play off, he can play zone schemes, and when you do pattern match and some different things on defense, he can do those. He understands spacing and stuff like that.
Who's their defensive coordinator? That's what I want to know. Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. Oops. Okay, Christian Park. He's only 34 years old. Background 3-4 scheme, or in a multiple scheme. Okay. Background prior to the Eagles, spent 3 seasons with the Broncos as defensive backs coach. That's solid. Regarded as a rising star, strong background in player development, have coached young defensive backs like Pat Surtain, Quinion Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean. Yep. That's what you're looking for, right? That's exactly what you're looking for. But let me see here. I mean, solid. I feel like I'm pretty set on the Cowboys. I feel like that's a good place to end on the Cowboys. Next, I think this is probably, I'm not trying to go with the whole NFC East theme, but this is probably the most appealing or like exciting draft for a lot of people. Arvell Reese, pick 5, great pick, amazing pick for them to get Arvell Reese. I know a lot of people hate on it. He's the best linebacker prospect I've ever seen. I haven't been doing it since Luke Kuechly or Patrick Willis, but best one I've ever seen. They got a good offensive lineman. Colton Hood, a lot of people like. I think he's coming off an injury. Malachi Fields, I haven't watched him very much, but again, there's definitely some great options in this draft class of the Giants, right? Some great picks. But let's hop into the Giants. Media capital of the world. We'll see if there's less selling and more football, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Let's hop in.
What do you think with the 3 guys you got today?
We're fired up. It was a long wait. That was the toughest part, waiting so long to pick again. But Bobby and JC are 2 guys that we had in on visits, and we're able to spend a considerable amount of time with those guys. I know we talked about the D tackle position a little bit last night, and we're happy to get him in here. Big body, long, strong, powerful. JC, a guy that played left tackle there at Illinois.
I honestly can't believe they were willing to give up Dexter Lawrence. I think that's honestly insane. I just don't understand it. I think that position is going to continue to be one of the most valuable ones in football, even more so than edge rusher. I think they've always been really close, but I think it's going to get even closer. And the interior defensive lineman position is actually going to be more valuable. And I think it was a terrible move. I don't know how they're walking away from this feeling better.
Some position flex for him, tackle, guard. We see some versatility with him. And then Jack Kelly, another guy we spent time with down at the All-Star game. Ran really well. Super productive player. He's playing off the ball for BYU at Weber State. He played off the edge. He's got 30-plus career sacks. So a lot of versatility in him, and also the ability to play special teams. So clear vision for all 3 of them, to compete for roster spots, and excited to get all 3 of these guys.
This is Pocket. I never go anywhere without it.
This is Pocket, and this is me. Just bad jokes, just terrible jokes. But no, I honestly can't believe that I cannot believe they gave up Dexter Lawrence. Best, most valuable position to me other than quarterback or offensive line. Most valuable position on the defense, and you gave it up.
Final scheduled pick of the draft. What do you make of your class as a whole?
You want to do that one?
Yeah. I think we got a bunch of giants, a bunch of figuratively and literally. We've got guys.
Dumb answer.
That we really like that are going to make a difference. And to Joe's point, clear vision probably is a really good way to say it, because we have a clear understanding of how each of these guys fits in. You even look at Jack at the end and compare him to Arvell in a sense. The 2 bookends on the class, 2 linebackers, and Jack will be more in the Mike mold. But he's also a guy that can rush the passer off the edge. If you saw him at Weber State before he transferred. So
I'm glad they see Arvell as a linebacker and not an edge rusher, because he can rush the edge, but he's definitely better as like a Sam, right? Or, an off-ball linebacker, however you want to put it.
We can move guys around and put them in different spots. He'll play special teams, so got a clear vision for him as well. Also create competition in that linebacker room, which is strong. Offensive line, defensive tackle. I'll be talking about that. That's still something we've got to continue to address. We're not finished with that at all. But to be able to add in the draft a guy we really liked, we're a little surprised he was probably still there.
Yeah.
He's a guy that we had hoped would still be there. We had a couple guys and he was still standing, but we love the way he plays. He plays the way we like to play. He plays square. He locks out. He sheds blocks. He's a very fundamentally sound guy. So he'll be a part of it. And then we get a couple vets going forward.
You mentioned a bunch of giants figuratively and literally. When you took, even just including free agency, there's a clear difference, like the roster, the look of the roster, right? You added size. It seems like you want it to be bigger and more physical. How much?
You want to be bigger and more physical, but you get rid of the biggest, most physical player on your team?
That's something that was your priority and you noticed when you came here?
They're definitely a priority. It's important. And there's nothing to. You can be a giant in different kind of ways. You can be real fast. That makes you a fast giant, I guess. But
you can be fast, so that'll make you a fast giant.
We just really want really good.
Honestly, why is this me talking in a press conference? I don't know what to say.
Players. We want guys that fit how we want to play, and some of these guys, they really fit how we want to play. The fact that they're bigger players, longer, heavy-handed type guys is important.
I feel like this GM is like, I cannot believe I lost roster control to this guy.
Because especially in this division, you've got to play that way.
Especially because all of these Ravens players talk bad about Harbaugh after they're done playing with all of them, all the good ones. Ray Lewis did it. Ed Reed did it. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Not Mark. Is it Marquise Brown? No, Zay Flowers. Duh, not Marquise Brown. Zay Flowers said it.
Interior offensive line has to be physical. Look at the defensive tackles in this league, right down the road especially. And offensive line the same way. We want to be able to handle the offensive lines that we've got to play against up front. And, of course, we talked about stopping the run right out of the gates, right? You got to be big and strong to do that. You've got to.
So you get rid of Dexter Lawrence.
Be athletic. You got to be able to move. All those things are part of it too, but it's a big part of it.
Davis will start out where?
Swing guard and tackle.
Yeah.
Swing guard and tackle. He can play both. That was. We just had.
Look at the GM.
You got to be big and strong to do that. You've got to be athletic. You got to be able to move. All those things are part of it too, but it's a big part of it.
Davis will start out where?
So the GM looks like he wants to answer. He's like,
swing.
And then he just sighs. And then John Harbaugh's like,
swing guard and tackle. Yeah. Swing guard and tackle. He can play both. That was. We just had this conversation, and
what did I do here?
That went a long way, kind of into.
You can tell that he's upset about this. Well, obviously none of us know, but like based off his looks, he looks upset that he no longer has roster control.
Determining where he would play, but very talented, athletic, long arm guy, can bend, can move his feet. He's big.
Because did he ever really get a shot? I don't think he ever got a fair shot, right? Because he was hired. Was he hired with Dayball? Oh, he was. I'm sitting here thinking Dayball got hired after him. He got a fair shot. He can't sit here and be mad. He had his chance. And I don't know, like, how much say he had in picking the coach, but he had his chance.
He's got some growing to do as a player, some maturing to do as a player, but we had him in for a visit, talked to him about that at length. Very determined guy, and he's determined to kind of develop into his talent level. He's a very talented offensive lineman.
You guys have both alluded to not being done at defensive tackle. Where do things stand with DJ Reader? He came in 2 weeks ago. Just how did that visit go? And DJ Reader.
Yeah, we've been in contact with several agents of veteran defensive tackles. So we'll continue to keep those communications open. We'll see what happens next week. Maybe have a couple more visits of some vet guys. So certainly on our radar.
With Expedia, the more Ken travels, the more.
Yeah, I really don't like their approach, man. I don't understand it. They have a lot of talented players on this team, and I don't agree with how their approach is, especially going into this season. Harbaugh seems like, here's the thing. This is how I feel about Harbaugh to the Giants. The Giants are the best fit for Harbaugh, but Harbaugh is not the best fit for the Giants. And I think it's going to show here in the next couple of years. I think you're going to see a lot of injuries, a lot of mismanagement of the game. And if I had to rate it, I would still say it's like a 7 out of 10 higher. It's not terrible, but I don't know if it's going to lead to a Super Bowl. And honestly, that's what it should be about. Oh, hold up.
Oh, I feel really good about it.
Yeah,
I feel very
really
strongly that we did. You know, it was definitely a priority to do it, right? Protect him, first of all. You know, it's hard to complete passes if you don't have time to throw. And then give him another weapon, you know, and try to give him as many weapons as we can. But to get Malachi was a big plus. You saw him here for the pictures and things like that, and you saw he's a good-looking athlete, right? And good person, another very determined guy. So yeah, I'd say that was a major priority.
And where are you with Odell? Where is that now?
We worked him out. He looked good. We've
Shane again is like, I don't know, where
just
are we
got
at
to
with
kind
Odell?
of. I'd say that was a major priority.
Wait, hold on.
And where are you with Odell? Where is that now?
We worked him out. He looked good.
He's Odell. He's old, and he's not the same player.
We've just got to kind of continue conversations with him. I really like him. You know, Odell and I are going to talk Tuesday night, kind of see where he's at, see where we're at, see what he's thinking. You know, see what we're thinking now with the roster and the way it looks, and see if it makes sense. I think if we do anything, you know, just being honest about it, you know, it has to make sense for the Giants. Has to make sense for him, and he's in a different place in his career for sure. And I think I love about Odell is he's right now he's in such a good place in terms of, you know, his humility. He wants to be part of a team. He wants to contribute. He wants to help the young guys. That's what he's talking about doing. He still thinks he has some juice, you know, and he looked good in the workout. So you still got to be able.
He still thinks he has juice. Yeah, he does.
To play, you know, it's not going to be
these. In order to be a professional athlete, you have to have some level of, at least to be great, like some level of delusion, right? Like a certain level of it. You have to be incredibly confident. You have to be more confident than most people.
The old Odell, you know, it's going to be a different version, the 2.0 Odell, I guess you'd say. But we're not decided on that yet. He's not quite decided on that yet. I think we have to just kind of see where we're at this next week.
John, you came in here 4 months ago. You didn't really know Joe, his staff, and anybody in the building super well, I can't imagine. Just as you look back, you went through free agency, the draft, trades, everything. Like, how do you feel like this operation has gone?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for asking.
I mean, yeah, that's why he's thanking him for the question, because it's like, what is he supposed to say? He's standing right there. And it's to the media. Like, what is he supposed to say? No, they all suck? No, he's going to be like, thanks for asking that. You know, everyone here has been so great, and Joe's been so great, and getting to know Lisa in accounting, and her husband's so amazing, and all the things that everybody does here. It's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I feel great about how it's gone, you know, and starting from the ground up, you know, looking at the staff and the scouts and everything. It's a great group. It's a great group that Joe put together. On the scouting side, I feel like they're just thorough. They're excellent at what they do. I saw them work. I saw the reports. I saw them through the process, even the last 3 days. And communication. One of the best things that this scouting department does is communicate with the coaches. The coaches and the scouts, it was seamless. We ended up on the same page. We didn't always agree, but we understood where we were coming from. And then we had probably the most important thing is to have a clear understanding of when you bring a place. My dad always used to say in recruiting, it's not who you don't get, it's who you get that matters. You know, do you have a clear vision for what they're going to do?
Yeah.
Do you like them as a player? And can you find a place for them and get them ready to play? So I think.
I mean, true. Very obvious, but true.
We did that, you know, and communication is a big part of that. So happy with that. Joe and I have been working together every single day. I mean, hours on end, whether it's planning or organizing.
That's how the NFL is.
Organizing or just talking about players or watching tape again over and over again on these guys. And I feel like it's gone very well. I think if you look at the draft.
What a lot of people I feel like misunderstand is that, like, this isn't like a 9-to-5 job. This isn't like, oh, I just go in my cubicle and I go home. Like, these guys are like Fortune 500 CEOs. Like, this is their life. They might have a wife and kids, but this is their life. This is all that they do. So whenever they say, oh, well, we've been together hours on it, it's like, yeah, okay. okay, that doesn't really matter. That's what everybody's doing, except Kwesi Odafo-Mensah.
Draft, and you want to talk about results, yeah, we'll talk about results down the road. We got to find out. We'll see. You know, it's like all these draft classes. You don't know until they get out there and start playing. But on the surface right now, I feel great about it. I don't feel we could have done any better. I think we made the most of the draft, made the most of the resources we had, and I'm really, really happy with the way it went. I hope Joe feels the same.
John, does bringing an overall philosophy to team building into a draft help clarify what direction you want to go in when certain picks come up? Like saying, we want to be bigger, we want to be this time of team.
What a softball question. Hold on. Let me have him ask it again. Hold on.
Certain picks.
Hold on.
John, does bringing an overall philosophy to team building into a draft help clarify what direction you want to go in when certain picks come up? Like saying, we want to be bigger, we want to be this time of team. When you're looking at the grades, does that help clarify kind of where you go and what tiebreakers happen when picks come up?
No, it's a fair point. Like I think it happens through the process. To your point, like we didn't sit there and say, no one said, hey, this is the philosophy, so to speak.
I can't even keep a straight face. What a softball question. Does having like a vision of the team and like having an idea of the players you want, like how you want to use them, like, is that important?
That happens in the conversations, so as you start talking about players, you start talking about your roster, back and forth conversation, you try to paint a picture, and it's back and forth. Okay. What do you see? What are we looking for? What do you see in this player? How does he fit? How doesn't he fit? Because
they also do that when you interview for Jimmy John's. Does this person fit, our standards, our culture? Okay. Somebody asked them, like, how are you going to use Arvell Reese when you have Abdul Carter? How does losing Dexter Lawrence, like, how are you going to blitz? How are you going to stop the run? Is Arvell going to be more of an edge rusher? Is Abdul Carter still acting like a weirdo based on the reports? Allegedly. So, like, these are the questions you have to ask, right? Like, some of the stuff that's come out about Abdul Carter, and again, it's alleged, like, those are things you should be asking. Did you feel like you had to draft Arvell Reese because of the way Abdul Carter's been acting? How is it this hard?
Every player brings something different to the table, and you want to have the type of guys that fit how you want to play, but you want to play the way your guys play too. So I think it's part of the process. I don't think it's like you're dictating anything really. You're dialoguing about it, and you come to an understanding through that communication. Right? Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
How do you guys approach now the draft after the draft, the idea of the undrafted guys? Where are you at roster-wise? John, I don't know your philosophy through the years, and Joe, we know how you guys do it. How do you...
Compared to the Cowboys, these are all softball questions, dude. Oh my gosh. The New York media, the minute things go bad, they're just going to go in for the kill. It's like, I don't know how Dallas media was like 10 years ago, if they were this hard on Jerry. Does Dallas media and the Cowboys fans have a right to be hard on Jerry? Absolutely. But like, what I don't respect about this media is that there are some very valid questions that you can ask about things that have already happened. You lost probably the best player on the team, right? The most valuable player on the team. You traded him away basically just for a first-round pick. 10th overall pick, right? Which to me is a steal. And then you draft a player 5th overall that I don't necessarily think's a lot like the 2nd overall pick from last year, but that's how a lot of people view him. So again, if I am the Giants media, these are the questions that I'm asking. These are the things that people want to know. Were you interested in Jeremiah Love? What does that say about Cam Scatabo? Do you still believe in him? How is he going to be coming off his injury? Do you like him being on live streams and saying, being himself and, having his PR guy call him on stream? How do you feel about these things? These are the questions you should be asking. How do you feel about Jackson Dart saying the N-word? These are the questions.
Handle what comes next as far as that goes.
Yeah, we've been working on it for weeks. So, again, talking about the communication with the coaching staff and our scouts, we've been well ahead of this. A lot of it is, relationship based for some of these kids. So whether we're sending coaches out, working kids out privately, going to pro days, meeting with them at all-star games, it's all part of the process from first round to seventh round, then priority free agents. So, the recruiting process has been ongoing. They're up there meeting now. And then as soon as the draft's over, then, we'll attack it. We have a really good plan in place. We've got targeted players. Again, the coaches, the analysts, our scouts, Coach and I, Dawn, the entire scouting staff has been working on, a plan for free agency over the last couple of weeks. So, we're ready to go.
Have you guys set a fixed number as far as how many guys you can bring in, or is it flexible?
Yeah. That's
a great question. We've had that conversation.
Yeah, that's a lot today. All right,
it's a fixed flexible number.
Fixed flexible number is a good way to put it.
Is that a good question? I mean, yeah, I guess.
We got a really number, but it depends on who you can get.
Yeah.
Because I maybe if we're talking about,
it doesn't matter. These are guys that you can just cut. And if you have enough cap space, it doesn't really matter.
Philosophy, I just kind of say this. It's like we're always trying to make the roster better. So
that's like, it's like hiring a bunch of interns and paying them, at most paying them minimum wage for like a couple months, couple weeks. That's really what it is in comparison. Now, are they making way more money than a minimum wage worker? Of course. But like in the context and in comparison to the rest of their team,
there's guys, but then there's always the ability to churn your roster. And you're always going to be looking to improve it. So it just depends, and you're going to have the best 90 that you can possibly get. Then you're going to have the best 53 that you can possibly get. Then you're going to have the best 16 on the practice squad that you can possibly get. And that's all. You always got to be working it.
John, what was your
two more?
Working it.
What was your opinion on Malik Neighbors' opinions on your guys' first round?
Okay, there we go. Better question. You have all these Giants players all over social media, dude. All over social media. And finally, we got a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. Now, we had a great conversation with that. Malik came in the next morning, and sat up there and we were talking about it. And, he made himself clear. It's like he even said, if you go back and you watch it, I appreciated kind of where he's coming from. I mean, it's you're in a podcast and you're talking ball, and he's just like, well, how are they going to use the guy? How's he going to play? Don't get me wrong. He said, don't get me wrong. And I think maybe we got him wrong, out there a little bit because that's.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen this clip. I've only seen the clip of Malik talking about Carnell Tate. But my assumption would be is how are they going to use Arvell Reese? Don't we already have Abdul Carter? Now, Abdul Carter and Arvell Reese can exist on the same team. Absolutely. You need to play Arvell Reese as a stand-up linebacker and blitz him in certain looks. You can have so many stunts with the defensive linemen they have. I thought it was a great pick. I have nothing wrong with the pick. But again, that's just me. As the NFL media, my job is to ask the questions people want to know. And this is a great question. And from what I've seen reaction-wise from Giants fans, this is what they want to know.
That's what we do in our world. We look at one thing and we say, well, he must be mad about it. And it's like he said, man, I was curious about how you're going to use him. And I showed him how we're going to use him, and he's fired up about it. But I appreciate it,
Then explain it to somebody. Ask him. How are you going to use him?
One thing that you'll kind of probably see as we go.
I know he's not going to give like a very detailed or specific like strategic answer, but like also you should at the same time. Like, who cares? They're going to see it eventually.
Go here.
If he's a good enough player, they're not going to be able to stop it.
We don't get too worried about stuff. It's like as long as the person's heart's in the right place, as long as the person really cares, a player, or coach, or anybody, and you really want what's best for everybody, you're coming from he's got a good heart and a good place, say what you think. Put it out there. We talk all the time about confronting everything that has to do with our football. And so Malik wants to know how we're going to use our first round pick. I want to show him. I want to explain it to him, and the fact that he says it publicly, who cares? I know the fans are probably thinking the same thing. So it was the same question that everybody's going to have, and we knew that, because we knew that, how kind of Arvell was perceived. So I think I know we've got a great vision for him, and I think we saw him. He's a player that fits our structure, our defense very uniquely. And maybe that's hard for people to see, but you'll see it soon enough.
It's not hard to see at all. You should play stand-up linebacker.
And Malik was fired up about it and happy. He was the first guy that met him coming in the building when they got in here. He couldn't wait to get out there and just make sure they knew, or that Arvell knew and his family knew where he was at with it.
When you say you showed him, did you put up tape and show him?
No, I explained it to him. Yeah, it would have been a good idea to put up some tape. That would have been fun.
Yeah, it would have been a good idea.
But no, he could understand it. He knows ball.
Was it important for you? The guys came through yesterday. The idea of, Cece said, he met Jackson. We saw the video. He was with Jackson. Abdul was here, and saw Reese. How important was that? Was that organic, or did you guys kind of put it out there and say it'd be good for you guys to come through when these guys are coming through?
We have a great young nucleus of guys that love ball, and they showed up on their own. A lot of those guys showed up on their own, and we're excited to meet the new prospects and welcome to the organization. So it was really cool to see those guys come through and meet their new teammates and welcome with open arms.
Yeah, I mean, great. Towards the end there, it got a lot better. The press conference did get a lot better towards the end. I think New York media, if this doesn't start going well fast, they're going to start hitting them with way harder questions. But I just want to see these guys ask better questions, man. And from a team building perspective, I really like the Arvell Reese pick. I don't understand how you could give up Dexter Lawrence. I would much rather have them traded Kayvon Thibodeau. And they still have Brian Burns, right? They could have easily lost Thibodeau instead. And I don't know if you would have got the 10th overall pick, but you could have definitely threw in Kayvon and a little more stuff in there for the 10th overall pick. And still kept Dexter Lawrence, paid him. I would have much rather done that if I was the Giants. But I mean, next we got our good old Vikings. Here we go. Now, I haven't seen this. I haven't really been paying attention to the Vikings very much. They kind of make me mad. But this is right after Juwan Jennings signing as well. Actually, I don't know if it's after the signing, because they did just sign him. I think it was last night. Was it? When was this? Okay. Yes, he was signed by now, or at least he should have been. So let's hop in with our good old KOC. Man who is a hot shot without winning a playoff game.
Hey guys, appreciate you coming out to our rookie mini camp. 1-2 first start out today, and just make sure I personally pay my respects to Joe Sensor, and our organization is doing the same thing as well. Obviously, we care greatly about the players that have played for this organization, that have helped forge the path of this organization to where we are today. And just wanted to start out and just mention his family and keeping him in our thoughts and our prayers, but also very thankful for the 5 seasons that Joe was a part of this organization, and the many years after that, being involved in multiple capacities with the organization.
Okay.
Obviously on a lighter note, excited for, want to wish the best to the Wolves tonight and the Wild tomorrow, and then the Wolves again on Sunday.
Yeah, other Minnesota teams are actually getting the job done in the playoffs so far, but they actually can win a series.
Always a very fun time of year in the Twin Cities when both those organizations are fighting it out in the playoffs and setting a great standard for us as well. And so I want to wish them the best of luck.
You don't know what an AI work management platform is?
No, I don't. Yeah, yikes. Sorry.
Philosophy on, this camp is
I'm heated. Sorry.
Really designed to do a lot of things at once. We want to give opportunity to guys that had not been signed on a tryout basis. We want to, we always have some veterans that are willing to join us for this time. And then we have our college free agents we signed, and then ultimately this is the first, chance we get to get on the grass with many of our draft picks and at least get them going in the offseason program. Did one day this year just because, you guys know I'm a big data guy, and the data was telling me over the years the stress we were putting on these guys going Friday, Saturday, and then
They're only having one day. What, this week or the whole? I would assume just this week. Big data guy, but data shows you haven't won a playoff game.
And they tend to run a little hot on Monday when they're out there with the veterans for the first time, and we've just had some kind of little things pop up over the years from a soft tissue perspective. So wanted to get a little bit longer of a practice today.
KOC, if you notice this about KOC, if you watch his press conferences, talks a lot about avoiding soft tissue injuries. A lot about it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I thought the guys handled it really well. We got some good work in. Now they'll start preparing to join the big group on Monday. Just an update on Caleb. Caleb Banks is doing great. Got some more positive information here as he reported to.
If you don't know, the Vikings took from what I've heard, a very talented defensive tackle. But they took him in the first round after he's had multiple foot injuries, which is like a cardinal sin for defensive linemen. I don't think he's going to say anything other than something positive about him, because why would he? But so far, what we've really gotten from the Vikings this offseason is the fact that Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl. We signed Kyler Murray. We signed we drafted an interior defensive lineman with foot issues, and we signed Juwan Jennings.
To Egan in the last couple days, and very much looking forward to him.
If you don't know, Egan, really rich area.
Really establishing a real great plan with our medical
good for medical staff
and the coaching staff. Obviously on the medical side, getting healthy, and on the coaching staff side, how can we, push Caleb from an above the neck standpoint to be that much more comfortable when he does get healthy. But he gets a great chance this spring and summer to get strong and build himself up for the multiple aspects we think he can help our team in the fall.
The Vikings need interior. If just on the surface, if the Vikings take an interior defensive lineman in the first round, that's been what I've been wanting for so long. But he's definitely someone I believe they could have got him in the second round. If not, maybe even the third. Maybe that's pushing it, especially with how high they took him. Maybe they probably, not maybe, I guarantee they know things that I don't know. But I really believe you could have got him in the second round, or at least tried to trade up for him. Instead, you took a linebacker, which is whatever.
And then, ultimately wanted to touch on, coming to terms with Juwan Jennings last night. Really excited about that.
Good signing.
Hosted him on a visit, had a great visit with Juwan.
Really good signing for them, especially with how Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson played last year. Yes, J.J. McCarthy had his moments, his ups and downs, really good, really bad, but also at the same time, the amount of balls that hit them square in the hands and they dropped it was not J.J. McCarthy's fault. I don't care how much zip he puts on the ball. I don't care. You get paid what you get paid. You're a professional wide receiver. One is supposed to be one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best. Jordan Addison, it was a first-round pick, wants to get paid, can't stop speeding, and this is where we're at. Getting hit square in the hands. And instead of being able to trade Jordan Addison for a first-round pick or a second-round pick and get something out of it, because there's no way we're re-signing him. I don't believe we are. Now we're stuck with him, and we feel the need to still sign Juwan Jennings. Now, I know Juwan Jennings isn't like, an amazing wide receiver too necessarily, but if Jordan Addison was amazing as he is and reliable as he is, do you think we need to sign Juwan Jennings? And they're trying to sell it as like, oh, well, hey, this is like a Super Bowl move. But again, I say this all the time. The Vikings have, if Justin Jefferson's career continues the way it is, arguably 3 out of the top 10 wide receivers of all time. And how many Super Bowls do we have? 0. So again, we're selling this 3 deep crap from 1998. Now, okay. Now we're going to go 15-1 and lose in the NFC Championship game. Is that what we want to repeat? No.
And really enjoyed my time I got to spend with him. And he's a player that I've always, from afar had a lot of respect for. He's
still a great signing, but in the context in which they're doing it and how they're trying to sell it pisses me off.
Obviously brings size to the room, brings a level of play style and physicality. The guy loves playing football and also the catch radius and the competes and the production that he's had. So to be able to sign a player, after a pretty patient approach, allowing ourselves to have some opportunity in the draft if it came to us, but always with a real mindset on Juwan being a target. And just want to highlight Rob and the staff, the job that they did getting that one done, and we'll be excited, expecting him hopefully to arrive on Sunday to get going on Monday, which will be big for us. So appreciate once again you guys coming out, and I'll turn it over to you guys.
Yeah. I mean, again, good signing, but context. And I know how the season's going to go. Kyler's going to do really good. The offense is going to be really good. They're going to probably win the NFC North. I would not be surprised if they did. Or second place with a really good record, like 12-5, 13-4, something like that. And then they're going to lose in the divisional or maybe even the NFC Championship game. And then we're going to find a way to re-sign Kyler Murray because he plays well. And then also at the same time, we don't want to repeat what we did with Sam Darnold because it puts us in a terrible spot signing Kyler Murray from a PR perspective. If things do go well, and if they go terrible, then it's almost better PR-wise if things go terrible and J.J. McCarthy takes over. So yeah, it's really just a frustrating thing, and I will not be surprised if they're actually really good this year, but there's no way you can book it. There's no way that the Vikings are winning the Super Bowl this year or maybe next year. I'm not, and I wouldn't even say that's a high chance, but there's no way that's happening this year. No way.
Then just when it comes to Jennings, like how important was that for you with the size that he brings?
Yeah.
Just something a little bit different than what you've had in that room.
Yeah, you guys, over the 4 years, you've seen how, especially with Justin and with Jordan, we need we need a unique aspect to that room, not only for that quote unquote number 3 position, but we've talked a lot throughout the process over the years of you can't just be one thing. Because we move Justin around, we move Jordan around. You got to be able to be a slot receiver. You got to be able to do some of those jobs on the early downs that we asked.
TJ Hawkinson was supposed to be that. Jalen Naylor was supposed to be that. What's his name that you took in the 3rd round? I forgot his name already. Last year could be that. You don't need another 1st round wide receiver. And I know Juwan Jennings isn't, but you've already invested so much capital into the receiver position. That's how you make up for it. And yes, Eagles fans, they probably wanted a better wide receiver 3. Yes. But they were fine with it because they had A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and they still won the Super Bowl, didn't they? Oops.
One of the few players that might be single covered in man-to-man. You got to be able to win. You got to be able to make contested catches, and you got to be able to do something with it after the catch. And Juwan does all of those things.
He does. But also TJ Hawkinson, they're going to give him 1 more year or he's out. They're giving it. I think TJ Hawkinson this year, it was a mixture of the offensive line really struggling, him having to chip a lot, and also him coming off an injury. So if he doesn't play well this year, he's gone.
I think Vikings fans are going to fall in love with watching this guy play football, just passion and the physicality that he plays with. And, you can tell I'm excited about it and can't wait to get him here.
Caleb, when you talk about kind of stressing him above the neck, just how much can he gain from just being out here, even if he's not participating?
Yeah, I think, the positive is you normally worry early on, even with Jake Golday, for instance. We've got some thoughts in how the ultimate picture may look, but you want to allow him, because he's doing it physically, from today on. You want to allow him to get comfortable in a spot before maybe you start throwing multiple things at him. With Caleb, he doesn't necessarily have to worry about the physical side of it right now other than just getting healthy.
I really don't believe that players can learn as well off the field. I think there's an aspect to it, but you have to do both. These are athletes, physical, they're using their bodies. Yes, studying tape and things like that is absolutely important in the playbook, but you have to be out there, right? You have to be out there.
So we can, hopefully challenge him to, learn more.
So in a year that this is supposed to be, I don't think they're fully selling it on this is supposed to be our year, but in a year where it's you have to win. If KOC doesn't win a playoff game, he's getting fired. It's the reality of it. He's going to get fired. So in a year where you're supposed to win right away, you take a defensive tackle coming off a foot injury in the first round, and your first press conference, this is what we're talking about? Is that the fact that he's not on the field?
Multiple spots that coincides with his versatility to align in different impactful spots along the D-line. So, he can take part in walkthroughs. He can take part in, the rookies are on a little bit different schedule. It's funny how that works out than the veterans in the offseason program. So we get them for more time. So I'm really encouraged by just, not only Caleb's enthusiasm to get going, but obviously the coaching staff and their plans for him as well.
The good news about him changing the timetable, Kevin, for him to get back on the practice field?
I don't know if it changes the timetable. I just think we're happy with where he's at. All things considered, and it might, and I can keep you guys updated on that as we go.
Okay, you're happy with where he's at. Okay, let me just. You're happy with where he's at, all things considered, but you took him in the first round knowing that this was gonna be a thing. So you created these circumstances for yourself. So this is really an excuse disguised as, oh, we're just working with what we got.
Oh, but you're really already into a chilly month of May here. So you're already into a point where we want to have our eyes on that end of July date so he can hopefully have a seamless transition into training camp and work backwards from there. Is kind of the hope. And you guys know how I handle a lot of the team aspect of the spring from a standpoint of really teaching, learning phase. Hopefully it could coincide with him maybe getting a little bit of work.
So here's my thing with KOC too. He's always been so big on keeping the players healthy, but how come players are getting injured all over the place? Justin Jefferson was out for half the season the other year. Christian Darrisaw's been out. Brian O'Neill's been out. Half of our defense was out, it felt like, if last year, if not the year before. I just don't get it.
There, but don't want to get ahead of myself at all.
Whoa. What's that?
Whoa.
I just want to.
I really don't get their approach, man. I really don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to sell. I really don't know what they're trying to sell our fan base this year. It doesn't really make any sense.
Does his history as a run blocker kind of make him attractive? You mentioned he has a unique aspect to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some unbelievable clips over the years of if I said doing his job, that would be a wild understatement. There's an emphasis that he wants to go out and play with a certain kind of play style that I think we've seen.
I literally can't even finish this. I cannot finish. It makes me sick watching this. I'm not even trying to be dramatic. It genuinely makes me sick watching this. I can't for another year watch him talk about the same things over and over again with no results and making stupid decisions. And it's I like KOC, but I actually really like him. And it's not going to sound like I do. I actually really like him as a head coach. He's a really good head coach. But the way that he's been labeled the golden boy before winning any playoff games bugs me. It makes me think that people don't care about winning. They care about looking good. And that's really what this has been. It seems like it's been the Vikings trying to convince themselves that, you know, we look good, but we just can't get it done. Like, woe is us. Like, this just happened. And that's another example of, like, them talking about oh my gosh, Caleb Banks, and they're talking about, you know, all things considered, you know, he's doing good. You did that to yourself. You put yourself in that scenario. What do you mean all things considered? Like, yes, we get it. But you knew it before you took him in the first round. I'm done, y'all. Follow me on whatever. I'm done, y'all. But have a great day. Thanks for watching, and y'all take care.